doing a class.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the KRIM Community Spotlight Program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio and enjoying the beautiful weather out there today. Love 70-degree weather, 73 degrees outside right now, and it feels wonderful. So hopefully everyone is enjoying their morning. Again, a reminder that the Payson High School, the Longhorn Homecoming Parade is this afternoon, 1:30, and that is traveling down Main Street, starting in Green Valley Park at JRE and going to Sawmill Theater. So if you can get out and support our students, our youth, cheering them on, it will be a fun time, and we'll be set up in front of Payson Premier Dental and also Terlucas and Brandt, CPAs, the log cabin there on Main Street. So it'll be a fun time. Hope you can make it out. Well, this morning, my guest in the studio is somebody that's very familiar to the Community Spotlight program, but is one of the hometown movie guys, so we're usually talking about movies. But today, we're going to be talking worship yoga with Tina Terry. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you are so welcome. Great to have you on and to talk about something that maybe, well, I think the majority of people, I think everybody has heard of yoga.
Right.
There probably are many people, and maybe the majority of people listening, that have never done yoga, myself included. I've never done yoga. So this is great to, I think, a great opportunity to learn about yoga, the benefits of yoga, and also maybe clear up some misconceptions about yoga and, you know, your faith, religions, and so on, because there's probably people that do hear yoga and they think just pure new age and hocus pocus, crystals, just, you know, whatever
Yeah, or
comes to mind.
Hindu or Buddhist, or, you know, but definitely it's not associated with Christianity as a general rule.
Yes, because I think it isn't as popular in the West as it is in the East and other parts of the world. So because it is not as, I guess, mainstream or popular or just talked about or discussed, that's probably why, you know, there's just a lot of misconceptions about it. So yeah, and the other thing to point out is that you brought these books, but you are certified and registered as a yoga instructor.
I am, and I registered. I took an intensive course with yogafaith.org. I encourage everybody to go online and look them up. They are a Christian yoga training, very rigorous. Rigorous Christian, being Christians, and rigorous being yogis. And, you know, just a little background on yoga generally. It's a very, very old practice. And back in India, where it first started, it was only for men. The women were not permitted to do this. And the rulers of these little city-states, you know, which before India became a big country, is they would give it to their warriors to train them for battle. It's a very rigorous practice, even when it's just stretching. It can be very relaxing, and is for many people, including me. But when it was given, it was more kind of like a martial art of India. And because those people were often Hindu, primarily Hindu, not, you know, I guess Buddhism some, but, you know, it became associated with Hinduism, and also, you know, the Hindu religion. And I don't blame them. It's a good thing. They adopted it, right? But they don't own it. And so, you know, when I was looking for a particular yoga training, I've been a Christian since 1983, and I'm 75, so I was still an adult before I accepted the Lord. And man, I always tell people I was a mean and miserable atheist. I was awful. I know, and I have to laugh because the Lord was so patient with me. Oh my goodness. But he kind of smacked me upside the head with a 2x4. I was at the point of, probably I would have committed suicide. And I called out to Jesus, and, an atheist calling out to Jesus. I mean, what? What? And man, it was an amazing, almost an out-of-body experience. So I've been studying yoga for 36 years. I think it's 36. I keep saying that, and then I get older, so it keeps getting longer. And I was teaching yoga before I got certified from Yoga Faith. I started out as a teacher at the high school. I was doing yoga classes after school for anybody. It was for free. When I retired, I decided that I was going to take this more seriously. When people retire, it's like, okay, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And so I decided that I wanted to bring the health of yoga and the glory of God's grace, and what better than to do it together? So I found Yoga Faith, and Michelle Thielen, who is the founder of YogaFaith.org, an amazing yogi. I mean, check it out, man. She's an incredible person and a great teacher. She, people, as a teacher, I'm pretty critical of teachers, and she's one of the best teachers. She's a teacher of teachers.
Wow.
And her husband works with her in the business. I highly recommend this book. It's called Stretching Your Faith. You can buy it on Amazon. You can also buy it on the Yoga Faith website. It's a very rigorous yoga training, but the scriptures that are associated with doing these moves. And in Him we move and breathe. And I mean, okay, there's yoga. So for those who think that Christians can't do yoga because they're somehow going to be seized by some mental or spiritual force that isn't the Lord, I say, I can understand that, but I can't accept it, because when I do my Christian yoga sessions, and which I've just started doing on Sundays from 3 to 4 at CrossFit, and they are free. The only thing we ask is if people are moved to donate any money, it's all going to go to New Beginnings. And that is, near and dear to my heart. But it is so incredible to be on this journey with the Lord through yoga. I studied ballet when I was a kid, and I joke and I say yoga is kind of like ballet for old people. I mean, a lot of young people do it too, but it's also for football players. It is an exercise, yes. It doesn't have to be associated with any type of spiritual teachings, and it can be, if that comes in through either private yoga practice or you come to Christian yoga. And I do teach at, I want to acknowledge Arizona Fitness, wonderful gym. Kyle is great. I have a lot of people there who take regular, non-denominational yoga. 8 to 9 every Tuesday morning. You do have to be a member, but it's it's very inexpensive. And then I teach Thursday nights at CrossFit. And I want to do a shout out to Matt and Molly, who own CrossFit. Love those kids. They are adorable. And they are Christians. And so they have very kindly given over their space to me every Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that's great.
And all of y'all out there, come and be in the Lord's presence and move and breathe in His presence. If you want to come, you need a yoga mat. You need 2 yoga blocks, which are obtainable. Walmart sometimes, Big 5 usually, and Amazon always. Right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to, obviously, I just wanted people to know that this is a serious devotion for the rest of my life, to learn this. I'm still a student. I learn something every day. And the Lord, we know, has a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
He gave me vertigo. So, or maybe He didn't. Maybe I just found it, when I wasn't paying attention to Him. But anyway, I have vertigo, and I'm a yoga teacher with vertigo. who cares?
Yes.
Right? We adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people in wheelchairs do yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people with no legs do yoga. PTSD soldiers. And this was just one of the books that I had to put together for my so I just came to show it off and say, oh yeah, she's a serious student. Yeah.
Well, and I love the title of this book, Stretching Your Faith. How appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, for yoga, but also that's what our faith is about. Our relationship is growing in the Lord,
Yes.
and not staying, just in our little comfort zone or just doing what we feel comfortable doing, but being stretched.
And knowing that when we do that, He is supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
He is there. He is our parachute,
Mm-hmm.
our yoga mat. I mean, people talk about in yoga faith, and I have a lot of wonderful sisters and brothers who have studied with me,
Mm-hmm.
about being on your mat and being a holy place
Mm-hmm.
where you can pray.
Mm-hmm.
I had a yoga teacher years ago who wasn't a Christian. I love what she said. She said, you don't feel like doing it, just get on your mat and something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh snap.
Mm-hmm.
Turn off the phone, you are there, you can meditate.
Mm-hmm.
You meditate on whatever you want. I mean, I have a very close friend who passed away 25 years ago who was a Tibetan Buddhist. She was my best friend from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And she went and studied yoga in India.
Mm-hmm.
And, great. I mean, I also want to do a shout out to Yoga in the Pines. They
Mm-hmm.
are a wonderful organization on North Beeline. They do all kinds of paddleboard. They do all kinds of, Mel, who runs that place, is
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Is really amazing. So there's a lot of options in this town.
Yes, and I think when you're talking about yoga and being on your yoga mat, it's going to it's a quiet place.
Yes.
And going to a quiet place, and it mentions that in the Bible, going to that quiet place. And if
Yes.
that quiet place is on a yoga mat, if it's in the woods, if it's on the beach, wherever it is for us, in the in our backyard, on our back patio,
Mm-hmm.
out on some of the trails here, around town, in Rumsey Park, in Green Valley Park, next to the lake. It doesn't matter where that is,
Yep.
but we all just need that escape, that time where we can go somewhere quiet and just breathe and have that fellowship. Have fellowship.
Yeah.
And
And true confession,
Mm-hmm.
big place for me,
Mm-hmm.
the shower.
Mm.
I'm from
go.
Hawaii originally. At the end of my yoga classes, I often say, I say Aloha
Mhm.
and Godspeed and Namaste, which is Sanskrit for I recognize God in you. God, it's an expansive word.
Mhm.
But people think that because it's Sanskrit, that it can't be Christian.
Mhm.
And I say, French is the language of ballet.
Mhm.
You don't really find Christians saying that you shouldn't do ballet. Italian is the language of music. Well, we have music in our church.
Mhm.
I'm at Rimview Community Church. And by the way, shout out to my Pastor Dave and my music director Kristen and Pastor Nick. Love those guys. But we had people at our yoga faith Sunday worship practice from 5 different churches in
Mhm.
town.
Mhm.
People I've never met before. I was
Mhm.
so excited.
Mhm.
Right. And so, I'm sorry, I just
No,
gotta
no.
get excited about worshiping and doing
Yes.
yoga.
Yeah, another one, shalom.
Oh,
Shalom.
indeed, yes,
Shalom.
yes, shalom and peace and aloha.
Peace. Yeah.
Right? Yes. No law that says Christians can't say aloha.
Yeah. No, certainly. Well, have to say hi to and say aloha to Clifford Lane this morning.
Hey,
watching.
Clifford.
He's a big fan of KRIM and our community spotlight, and also the hometown movie guys. And he asks, "Hey, no coffee this morning, Mrs. Tina?"
I'm trying to cut back, and I had plenty this morning. But
That's
thank you, Clifford, for thinking of me. And you want to send coffee to me, just send it to KRIM. They'll get it to me.
No, it's good. I know water is so important.
I'm drinking
and
water.
try to drink as much as you can.
Yep.
I know.
Yep. Especially in Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And I tell my yogis, I say, during the yoga practice, I always say, go to the bathroom beforehand, drink little sips of water, but don't really fill up your belly with water.
Mm-hmm.
Because the big joke with us yoga teachers is you do not want downward facing dog to result in upward coming water.
Yeah.
Right? Or lunch. We tell people if you can not to eat I can't even eat for 3 hours or less before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about how, and you mentioned this, but I think it's very important for people to understand that yoga really is and can be for anyone. It doesn't matter age, if there are physical restrictions or limitations. It's a great way to strengthen your body and make your body stronger. So if you maybe are in a place physically that you're very limited in what you can do, you can't walk that far, it's harder to get up and off of a chair, a couch, and so on, then yoga can really help, can it, in strengthening your body.
Especially as we get older. And, I tell people my age because I want people to know that old age doesn't have to mean frailty and physical disability. I mean, we all got, we're all the walking wounded. But, some of the exercises that I try to encourage people to do in all my yoga classes are, I say, as long as I can get up out of my chair or off the throne, right? It's really important though, and I'm 75 and a half. I'm like, oh, don't forget the half, on my way to the next stage.
Yes.
But it is a strengthening. We have power yoga. I'm not able to do as much as I used to be able to do, but some of my yogis, man, the power yoga they can do, this is like Cirque du Soleil. I mean, I've been in classes where, wait, you're a yogi? I thought you worked for Cirque du Soleil. You're amazing. And then there was my husband does construction, and he told me a story, and this is the breath, where there was a guy who was a very accomplished yogi, who was a construction worker, and a hole caved in, and he was buried in dirt, quite deep. And he apparently had a limited pocket of air. That was it. There was, nothing else. And they were frantically trying to get down to him. They thought by the time they got to him, he would be dead. He was fine. He slowed down his breathing. He could breathe one breath a minute. Trained in yoga. And he came out alive and well. So it's good for a lot of different things. And if you have anxiety or stress, the yoga breathing is a very powerful, helpful, calming. And if we can be calm and focus on the Lord, we can't focus on the Lord so easily when our mind is like the monkey mind, hopping around with all of the worries or all of the plans or all of the, what if.
The what is it all? The activities and the hectic schedules that we all have. And something you mentioned, if you have anxiety or stress, I can't think of anyone that I know that has any stress or anxiety.
I know.
It's practically everyone.
Well, if you just focus on breathing down into the belly and letting the belly go out when you inhale and go in when you exhale, and focus on breathing through the nose, because the nose is designed for breathing. Joking amongst yogis is, nose is for breathing, mouth is for eating.
Yeah.
And so, right, like you said, you have anxiety, we can help. And if you're not a Christian, we'll help you breathe. We're kind of a full service yogi. That's what I do. I try to help people with their lives.
Yeah, no, that is so true, and sometimes it's easy to forget that. And I think if you are focused or concentrating on that and breathing, where it's like, okay, in the nose and then exhale through the nose or the mouth, but breathing in through the mouth, not good.
Breathing out through the mouth, sometimes I tell my yogis, if you get, the little cardio going, but I say always make it on the exhale. And even there are awarenesses of the tightness of the face.
Yes.
So I train with that too. And I say just relax the jaw and go, we call it the HA exhale. Right? It's the right? And make a sound.
Yeah.
What I do in my worship yoga is I remind people, how did we come? He breathed into us. He breathed into us. Holy moly. That's where it started. It is the breath. Breath of life. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's something that is very simple, but very often overlooked, or we just don't take the time to do it, or we're distracted with so many different things.
Yes.
So
I want to make sure that I give my contact information out.
Oh yeah.
My phone number, and you're welcome to write this down, or if you don't get it, you can contact Chris. He'll give it to you. It's 928-595-0528. And if you do call me or you text me, if you could leave, when you call, I always say, I'm a little slow in the uptake, leave a message where you talk slowly and your phone number, if you need to leave it, sometimes I can capture it. But if you just say, I heard you on KRIM, that would be great. And my email is alohayogafaith@outlook.com.
There we go. Aloha Yoga Faith.
Yes.
And we have Jill Spellman.
Oh my gosh,
watching.
My student. I love you.
And she said, Tina, the best teacher ever. So.
Oh my gosh. She was my 6th grade student whom I hadn't seen for these many years. I flew back to New Jersey, stayed with her. Oh, I hadn't seen her since she was 12, and now she has these gorgeous kids, and she has a wonderful husband. And
wow.
Oh, hey, sweetie, I'll call you soon.
So she is watching, along with others. And also, if you want to mention again, the different places that you do classes, so people can go to those locations, and they can just show up.
Well, for Arizona Fitness, they need to become a member, but it's $22 a month, and you get all the classes. So if you want to do yoga and Zumba, I have 2 classes a week there. Tuesday mornings from 8 to 9. I do recommend getting there early if you decide that you're going to do this, because the other day we had 17 people.
That's great.
We're going to be and I was in a yoga class where they did this, where you're 2 inches apart from your friends. You're staggered, because when you do your arms, you want to make sure that you don't hold hands with your friends. You can do that later, right? But get there early, and bring your own yoga mat. We do have some blocks there, but if you have blocks, bring them. It's kind of like nice to have your own turf that is your own mat. And we say, yoga etiquette: never walk on somebody else's mat. When you're moving around the classroom. And then I teach at CrossFit. On Thursday nights, we have punch cards. They are 10 lessons for $90, so that's $9. I believe we have a discount for teachers, and I think firemen and some of the first responders. I've had cops in my yoga classes, and God bless those people. I try to help them with their stress, and firefighters as well. I can think of several. And gentlemen, yoga is not just for chicks, okay?
No, oh no.
The guys, remember, it was originally just for guys.
Yeah.
For warriors, so,
Oh yeah, when you watch and you see some people, people that are doing yoga, the amount of strength for some of the positions. And also, I think, as you mentioned, as we get older, stretching.
Yes,
stretching is
so important. Yeah.
It is. So this is a great way to stretch, and you're doing it in a way that you're not going to be as susceptible to injury because
Oh,
it
yeah.
is much more controlled
Yeah.
than
You
some other.
breathe into it. We don't bounce. Sometimes we pulse.
Mhm.
But you'd be amazed at what the body can do. And there are different forms. There's one called yin yoga, which is very, very low key. It is deep held stretches, maybe to 30 breaths,
Mhm.
where you work on the fascia.
Mhm.
And I had to take anatomy when I studied. I failed biology in school, so I'm really good at English.
Yes.
Math, no. English teacher, you do the math.
Good.
But yeah, and then Arizona Fitness, and then I just wanted to do a shout out to my wonderful teachers at the middle school and the high school. I'm doing free classes for those guys as well. You know,
And
it
then,
is so my pleasure to be able to do this.
Mhm. And then you're also at Rim Country CrossFit.
I am.
And that is Sundays?
Yes, Sundays is the worship.
Uh-huh.
It starts at 3, it ends at 4 officially.
Okay.
We do want to start on time.
Okay.
You need to bring your mat, you need to bring 2 blocks. I'm there usually at 2:15, latest is 2:30, and get there early. The first day that we had 17 people.
Mhm.
And we are very gentle on Sunday.
Mhm.
We focus on worship, focus on gentle movement. I've had people there already who have never done yoga before. I was
Mhm.
so thrilled.
Mhm.
I love to be, it's sort of an ego thing, which is terrible, but I love to be somebody's first yoga teacher.
Mhm.
It really means a lot to me.
Mhm.
So, and then I can send them to other teachers, which I like to do,
Mhm.
so they have a wide experience of different teachers.
Yeah, no, that is great. And it would probably be good to give your phone number one more
Yes,
time.
it is 928
Mhm.
595 0528. And of course, we're in Arizona. We don't do daylight savings time.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are elsewhere, just remember we're in Arizona. Check the
Yeah.
time before you call or text.
No, it is nice. And again, Tina is registered, certified. She brought the book, and it is no joke.
Yeah.
All the training.
And
And also,
this
yeah.
book is wonderful.
Mhm.
If you're a Christian and you want to even do just a few stretches,
Mhm.
super, super great. And there's an explanation of why Christians can do yoga that is magnificent.
Mhm.
Michelle's a great writer, a great teacher. I am honored to work with her.
Mhm. And again, that book is Stretching Your Faith.
By Michelle Thielen, Thielen.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tina.
Namaste and
Yes.
aloha and Godspeed.
Yes, and thank you everyone that is listening today
Yay.
and watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for commenting, and it was great to see you guys, and Jill, and Clifford,
Yay.
and everyone else. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. God bless.
And time to get back to the music now with some Beatles, some Stevie Ray Vaughan, America, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
Prepare for Payson and surrounding areas.